From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBI CBB PrimeTime Capper. And boy, oh boy, did we have a day yesterday in the NFL. A lot of crazy things happened in the NFL yesterday. So, we got to talk about the playoff picture first. And playoff picture is looking real good right now from what I can see. And I think that there's a lot of really good teams out there vying for these 7 spots. But as you know, we always have pretty much the top spots kind of filled up already. So when you look at everything, you say to yourself, who is the teams chasing right now? And you say, all right, who's chasing? And from what I can see here, you have pretty good race going. You had last night, big one for the Chargers. We're going to get into that one in a second because I'm going to talk about the impact that game had last night on a lot of things for the Chargers moving forward. But you have a good race going on. The Patriots are playing against the Cardinals tonight. That's huge because they need to win this game to keep moving forward and actually go ahead and replace the Jets because the Jets actually are in the playoffs right now, or we're in the playoffs. Now they're out of the playoffs. If New England is to win tonight, they would actually jump into that spot where the Chargers are at right now as well, too, because they do have the better record when it comes to conference play and everything. But the Chargers right now would be, if the playoffs were to start today, somewhat they would be in the playoffs. So with the Patriots winning, it's a different story. But then you got 4 teams that are 5-8. Do they still have a chance? Possibly, because it does look like it can be a 9-8 team. But when you look at their records against conference, the Raiders have a good shot at this. Jacksonville has actually worked their way back into the situation. Cleveland's too far behind the 8 ball when it comes to conference games. They're 3-7 in that accord. Same thing goes for Pittsburgh. And then you got Indianapolis 4-8-1. And then you got the bottom of the barrel with Denver and Houston. And that's a shock to see Denver be 3-10 this season and to see Houston be. And Houston, we already knew that they were going to be a bad team, but they almost won yesterday. Now, when you look at the NFC has a very good group of teams here. They have it to where it's kind of a Philadelphia show, and then you got Minnesota, who's 10-3, and then the Cowboys are a wild card team that's 10-3 right now, and then San Francisco, surprise, 9-4. A lot of people didn't expect them to possibly win that game, but they did. They have the best record in the NFL. They have the best defense in the NFL. Only gave up 197 points this season. They're 7-2 against the conference, so they're having a hell of a year this year, all in all. When you look at everything that's working out for San Francisco, then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who are just limping into the playoffs. They're 6-7 right now, but they need to steer clear because you still have a Carolina team that's 5-8, but now they show them a game out, and they do have the advantage by beating Tampa Bay this year as well too. So Carolina could possibly, it sounds crazy right now, but they could possibly sneak into this thing if Tampa Bay doesn't get their act together anytime soon. Because I'm telling you right now, Carolina, that 5-8 actually looks pretty good in a division where your leader is 6-7. But you look at this situation, and you do have you have 2 teams now vying for that 3rd spot in the wild card round, because New York, the Giants are kind of falling off, but then you see Washington has the same record as the Giants. So there's 2 spots really open right now. But I think the winner of Washington and New York is the team that gets the playoff spot, to be honest with you, because it would be sad to see New York actually falter because they've went 6-1 in that since that point. They started the season off 6-1. Then they find themselves now 1-5-1 since that point. I mean 1-4-1 since that point. And they've had some bad losses, and some of those losses came, and two of those losses and the tie came at home. So it's not even home field advantage for these guys right now. So they're just going through the motions in a sense. And then you have Washington who's playing hot, and you have Detroit who's playing really hot right now too. And that would be something if a team that started 1-6 actually makes the playoffs this year. So, that's why it's like you can't quit on teams in the first 2 months of the year. It's all about how you perform to me in November and December. And then that really goes ahead to show you is can you get to where you need to get to? And I just think that it will be a very good ending to the year, to be honest with you. I think that there's a lot of things that are just going to be able to work out in a sense here in the NFL. And I think that this is good that we have teams that are chasing from behind to get into the playoffs now. And honestly, I look at it this week, and there's a few teams that are on the outside looking in that will be in the playoffs from what I'm seeing, how I'm feeling. And I have more about that tomorrow when we get into State of the Lakers. So I'm not State of the Lakers, but when we do, my bad, when we because I'm in here still putting in the notes and everything for the show as well too. But when we do NFL Bet Exchange tomorrow, so you guys be ready for that. That'll be at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So you guys be ready for that, and it will be live. So tune in for that. So let's go ahead and jump into Mr. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is becoming a big time guy. And I think last night he cemented himself as the MVP of the league last night because he's just that good. And it's crazy that he's able to be kind of like a new Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson wasn't a first-round draft pick. He was drafted in the third. Jalen was drafted in the second. But I'm talking about the impact that he's had on his team. He was exactly what the doctor ordered. Even though they already had a quarterback in place, that quarterback had already ran his course. And that's crazy because they gave him a contract that said that he was the face of the franchise. This team is averaging 29.7 points per game. They're only allowing 19.1. That's good for first and seventh in the league. When it comes to yards per game, they're getting 407.6. That's good for second in the league. When it comes to passing yards a game, they're 13th. When it comes to rushing yards, they're number 2. This team is doing some big things this year. And on defense, they're number 1. And when it comes to picks, they're number 1. 48 sacks on a year, 15 interceptions. This team is playing literally a perfect season right now. Third down efficiency for this team is 46.4 at this point. And then you got a guy who's thrown for 3,157 yards in Jalen Hurts, and he's ran for 686 yards. And they still have games left, so he could possibly run for 1,000 yards this year and throw for damn near 4,000 if everything holds up. So this is an incredible season that is kind of unmatched right now. This reminds me a lot of it doesn't remind me a lot of anything. I haven't really ever seen anything like this before. This is absolutely nuts when you see the rushing and the passing. You know what I mean? And I think that all in all, Josh Allen was possibly the opening, MVP first 8 weeks of the season. But they started losing games, and they started not looking. And he got that injury. He hasn't really been the same since the Jets game. But he's still winning football games. But Jalen Hurts is dominating football games. It's a difference. You saw yesterday Mahomes had a lot of trouble with the Broncos. Good defensive team, but as a team going through the motions right now as well too, they should have been able to squash them. They were up 27-0, almost blew the game, only 134-28. So you have this Philly team that just absolutely crushes teams, and that's absolutely incredible right now. And I think that he possibly did cement himself as the MVP with that 48-22 win over the Giants. The Giants had to show up in that game to prove to us that they were really worthy of being playoff team this year, and I don't think that they're ready to be a playoff team. That was the worst game their defense has had all season, and they just really needed. They really look bad. So if they can go back and try to fix some things, that could possibly work. But right now, they do not look like a playoff team. But this team right here, the Eagles, are looking pretty super. And I think that a lot of people have to understand that it is their conference to lose right now. It is their division to lose as well, too, because at the end of the day, you still have a team that's all in your face, that feels that they are the team of teams, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. So, we got a big game that's going to be happening very soon between these two. And I know a lot of people are going to be excited about that one. So most definitely, is it already a Sunday night football game? No, it is not, but it is a Christmas Eve game, and it's going to be on Christmas Eve at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So they may change it to nighttime as well, too. You don't know. I don't know, but it is what it is. They got that game coming up, though, on a Saturday, and that's going to be on the 24th. So that game is in a week, and man, I know we all look forward to that one. So pretty much let's move on and talk about last night. The Chargers go ahead and get themselves right. They went ahead and got a big win on SNF with the 23-17 after losing a few weeks ago to the Chiefs in a game where they played pretty hard. They were up most of the game. They're up like 10 points in the fourth quarter, wound up losing the game. And that was just a huge blow because then they came back and lost to the Raiders. So it's just been a real bad situation for the Chargers. The Chargers had a little light at the end of the tunnel early in the year. Then they lose a few. Then they win some games. This is the most uneven team that you'll ever see in life. They're consistent at being inconsistent. That's the whole thing, and that's the craziest thing about this Charger team. And this has been like an ongoing scenario with this team since they came to Los Angeles. So pretty much last night, though, the Chargers had a great win on PrimeTime. And they're fun. It's a fun little thing. That's fun with the Chargers, though, because they make every game exciting. They truly do. Like the Chargers really don't go into games and get stomped out. Last night, a lot of people felt the Dolphins were going to be the better team in this spot. And I know a lot of people are now comfortable with the Dolphins. That's why the Dolphins were seen as the winner of the game before the game even started. The whole crew of NBC picked the Dolphins to win this game. They felt like the Chargers were too shorthanded. And Dolphins are just playing great football. Yeah, Dolphins are the number one passing team in the league right now. But that's because they got Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek Hill showed last night how good he truly is. You know what I mean? And how fast he is. And I've said this on plenty of occasions. This is the fastest man I've ever seen on a football field. Seriously. I've been to a lot of football games in my life, and I've been to enough NFL games to know, even though I haven't been to hundreds of NFL games, I haven't even been to dozens of NFL games, but I know what I'm seeing, and this man was the fastest man I've ever seen. So pretty much when I see him do what he does on the field, I'm never surprised. So he had two big touchdowns last night where he was literally untouched running down the field. So this guy, was the only reason why the Dolphins were in this game. This was a dominant effort by the Chargers in their defense because the Chargers are a much better team. They got a much better roster than the Dolphins. The Dolphins are playing with house money right now. A lot of people have to understand that. And that was really a game that the Dolphins could afford to lose because the Dolphins are in a good spot. The Dolphins are 8-5 right now. That's much better than 7-6. And the Dolphins have been able to get the wins when they need to win. And I think that them losing these two games in a row is kind of telling because they started off the season, they won 3 in a row. Then they lost 3 in a row. Then they wound up winning 5 in a row. Then they've lost 2 in a row. So this team is a team that's very streaky. So when they get on a bad little run, then they may lose 2 in a row. They may lose next week in the game that they're playing. But I know one thing, the Chargers know that they have to keep winning week in and week out. And this was a must-win situation, and they won because they were prepared to play the game by any means necessary to win the game. You know what I mean? This team, I know that they're the hard luck kids a lot of times, but they'll be all right. And it's all good because, when you get the Dolphins going against the Bills Saturday, you have a game where you are really pretty much tuned up to a Bills victory because they're going to be playing outside in the cold, and it's not going to be. And once again, it's an element game. And I think that all in all, if you got Tyreek, who's gimpy right now, who's probably going to be a 50-50 call this week, it will probably be another loss for the Dolphins. And then they have to get into the pool of, playing survival. They won enough games to be in that position. That's what y'all got to understand about this part of the season, man. It's not going to be an easy ride to get to where you want to get to in this NFL. And there's only one team that can win the Super Bowl. So this is when teams start to get really serious and schemes really start to make a lot of sense and schemes really start to get figured out. It's that simple. And Mike McDaniel had a nice little honeymoon, but now he got to really get down and coach. That's the whole thing. So there it is. And the Chargers just keep on rolling. Staley, to me, is on the hot seat because they got to make the playoffs. That's the whole thing. The Chargers got to make the playoffs or they will be looking elsewhere. But they'll probably still be looking elsewhere because Sean Payton could be a great fit for this team. He's a great fit for the idea of Los Angeles. So I think that he could be a really good coach for the Chargers moving forward if they were to pursue that. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But the Chargers get a big win this week. And I'll get more into the Chargers tomorrow when we do the NFL show. So let's go ahead and jump into the Monday Night Football preview. And we got Monday Night Football tonight. And I'm going to just be honest with you. It's not going to take long for me to break this down. I've told you guys plenty of times that this coach is giving up on his team. Well, no, they didn't. He hasn't given up on the team. Team's giving up on him. Let me take that back. And, Kingsbury, it's just he's marking his days, man. It's only so much more time left for coach. So, you have this Patriots team that's chasing the playoffs as well, too. And they are in prime position to take over that final spot because they have the advantage over the Jets. They beat them twice. So they win tonight. I think that they actually go into that final playoff spot. So the Patriots know this is a must-win situation. And the Patriots have it to where they could possibly sneak into the playoffs as well, too. And the Dolphins do have to come see them as well, too. That's the craziest thing about it. The Dolphins have to come see the Patriots in a few weeks as well. So there's a very fun little parody going on right now in the AFC East, just like there is in the NFC East, because you got 4 teams that are in playoff position in their division. And then you got 4 teams that are in playoff position in the NFC East. So it's absolutely nuts right now. But you just have a Cardinals team that's playing their second game on Monday Night Football in the last 3 weeks. And, we all know that they're there because they were quarterback crazy about Kyler. But I think all of us have kind of fell out of favor with him. You know what I mean? Because he's not that good at the end of the day. He's a good little fast quarterback that had a little moment in time like Doug Flutie where people couldn't stop what you were doing because they weren't slowing down. They were letting you beat them. They weren't being smart playing against you. But once everybody got kind of figured out that things are a little limited for you because you're a midget, it's just it is what it is. And I'm sorry for saying that. I mean, he's not that tall, okay? He's not blueprint NFL quarterback. He's 5'7" and really 5'5". Dude is really short. Like, I've seen him in person, and he's not that tall. So, because I'm only like 5'9", 5'10", and dude was at least 3 inches shorter than me. So, and that's with his hair and everything. So, pretty much, you have a game where I just feel like Arizona's going through the motions, and I think that the Patriots will be able to be the victor in this game tonight because this is a Bill Belichick special. You know what I mean? A team that's kind of given up on the season. And, this isn't the old Patriots anymore. This is the new Patriots. So, it's not like they're playing against the big bad Pats with Brady coming in, but they still have had their way at the old ballpark here in Arizona. They love playing in Arizona. So we'll see how it goes. Some of the greatest Pats moments has been on this field. Last time they were here, they had a great comeback win with Jimmy G at the helm. So it should be good. But the Cardinals have had the Patriots number as well too. They've beaten the Patriots a few times here in the last few meetings as well too. I've seen them meet a ton of times here in the last 20 years, and it seems like the Cardinals have got the advantage in their fair share. So this is a tough game still tonight for the Patriots. They can't overlook these guys like they did the Bears. So they'll it seems like they'll take care of business though. The Pats always seem to come through on the road. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But with that, we will go ahead and we will be back in a moment, and we will be talking some NBA. We got the state of the Lakers, and we got NBA Monday night coming up. We got 5 games to get into, so you guys stay tuned. And this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back, and let's jump into state of the Lakers. The Lakers got them a good win last night. They went ahead and beat up on the Pistons a bit last night. The Pistons, they beat them 124 to 117. LeBron had 35, while AD had 34 last night, but AD had 15 rebounds as well, too. So that was a really good win for the Lakers last night. The Lakers I think that they're playing really good basketball. They're going through the motions right now, but they needed that win. They went 3-3 on the road trip as well. And they had a great first half. They had a really, really good first half. The Lakers were actually up 12 points in the first half. And then what happened was that what always happens, there was a pretty good quarter for the Pistons in the third quarter. Lakers had a 1-point lead going into the fourth, and then they went ahead and finished the job. But Bogdanovich had 38 points last night. He might have been auditioning a little bit for the Lakers because that's a contract that the Pistons are trying to move on from right now, and they might be trying to make a deal. You know what I mean? Because I know that they are probably trying to acquire more first-round picks as well, too, and the Lakers are looking for some shooting. So you have a Lakers team that shot 54%, almost 55% last night from the field, had 42% from the three-point stripe, and then also was 21 for 27 last night from the stripe. So that was good for the Lakers. They led in rebounds and assists last night, and they also forced 12 turnovers last night as well, too. So the Lakers did a great job of just keeping things in front of them. But, games like this, you would want to see the Lakers just beat them up a little bit more. But the Lakers did cover spread last night as well, too. I know that there's probably some people out there who just felt that they was going to get that big, big money off this one. But, it didn't happen. And real quick baseball news: Chris Bassett, formerly of the Mets, has just signed with the Blue Jays for $63 million over the next 3 years, $21 million a season. Chris Bassett's a decent pitcher, but damn, $21 million a year, man. Man, it's good to be an athlete nowadays, boy. I'm telling you, because that's a monster deal. That's a good agent. But all in all, Lakers have themselves some key games coming up. They got the good old rivalry game with the Celtics. The Lakers, though, started off the month with two big wins, and everybody got excited because the Lakers were 10-12. Then they lose three in a row, back down to 10-15. Now I got to climb back up, and but LeBron was out the game with Toronto. And then the Philly game, you got to commend the Lakers. They win a double overtime there. They could have won, but they got tired. And then they come back. They beat the Pistons. That was a good win. So now they got 3 games at home this week. They got Boston, Denver, and Washington. Then they back on the road Monday against Phoenix and Sacramento. And then they have Charlotte next Friday as well, too. So that's the next 6 games for the Lake Show. And on Christmas Day, they play in Dallas. So that's what the Lakers have coming up. And the Lakers do finish the month on the road as well, too. So the Lakers have about 4 home games left for the rest of 2022. So we'll see what it do. And pretty much the Lakers will be talking a lot more about the game tomorrow, just getting into the latest trends and everything on the Late Show, so we know exactly where to go. But the Lakers looked good last night. I know that it's an uphill battle. I know a lot of people are very, very impatient right now, but I think the Lakers are about to make a strong move here because there's a lot of winnable games for the Lakers coming up as well too. But as we keep seeing, the Lakers really do have a short leash on how good they can be when it comes to these games, because they had to play damn near perfect games to really win these games. So, one little mistake and things do go to the left for this team. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it checks out, but it should be another really good game coming up tomorrow with the Celtics. But we're going to talk a little bit about the Celtics in a second, because they do play the Clippers tonight, and that is a part of our group tonight for the Super High Five as well too. So you guys, here we go. Let's go ahead and jump into the NBA Monday night. NBA Monday night, we got 7 games tonight. The first tip-off is at 4 o'clock Pacific, and then the last tip-off is at 7:30 in LA at Staples. So our first game that we have going today is going to be the Hawks and the Grizzlies. This is a good matchup. You got Trey Day and you got Ja Morant, the future of the league, So pretty much these two teams going at it, always a good game right here. And, these are two cities that aren't too far from each other, and they got all that rap that is that everybody thinks is that runs the world right now. You know what I mean? Who got the stick, So you got the Hawks though 14-3. You got the Grizzlies who are tied with this is crazy. They're actually tied with the Pelicans for the best record in the West. Like, that's crazy. And the Warriors are an 8 seed right now. That's how silly the West is right now. It's like a 2K simulation right now going on in the West. But let's go ahead and jump into these notes real quick. Atlanta's coming in here Atlanta's 14-13. They're just pretty much who I like to call middling at this time. And they are 2-3 in the month of December. They are coming off of a win though. And then they are 5-8 straight up on the road, 4-8 straight up as an underdog, and then they're 2-7 straight up as a road underdog. Then they are 11-15-1 against the spread. Against the spread on the road, they're 5-7-1, and against the spread on the road as an underdog, they're 3-5-1. Now, in their 27 games, they've won over 15 times, and on the road, in their 13 games, they went over 9 times. So they have that working out for them, that they are a team that does go over on the road. So they do have that working in that favor for us. And then, they just been kind of struggling this month. It's just not been a good month for the Hawks, but it's still kind of early. It's only halfway through, but 2-3. They want to be better than that. You got the Grizzlies, though. They're 5-0 in the month of December. They bounced back after having a rough end to November. Now they're 11-2 straight up at home, and as a favorite this season, they're 16-4 straight up. Now as a home fave, they're 10-1. Now against the spread, they're 12-2, and against the spread at home, they're 9-3-1. And as a favorite, they're 10-8-2 against the spread. And as a home favorite, they're 7-3-1. So when it comes to the over-under, this team has played 26 games. They went under in 13 of those games this year, but they did have one push. So that's why I said 13, because, they have only went over 12 of the games. So when you look at the over-under at home, they've been at home 13 times. They've went under 7 times at home. So when I look at this game does have the feel of being a over situation for me. I think that the Hawks are going to try to come in here and get on it early. Grizzlies are going to match this, and they're going to have themselves a good old shootout. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But let's move on to our next game, which is the Thunder and the Mavs. This is going to be a good old matchup right here between the Thunder, who are trying to kind of stop winning a little bit, then this Mavs team that's starting to try to win a couple more games, because they're pretty middling right now too. And nobody expected OKC to be middling, especially when the rookie went out as well too. But they just have been a much better than what was expected, and they have the series lead right now against the Mavs too. They are 1-0 against the Mavs. Now the Thunder are 2-2, losing their last 2 games in a row. And then when it comes down to the road, they are 5-10 straight up. And then when it comes down to the as an underdog straight up, they're 9-12. And then straight up as a road underdog, they're 5-8. Now against the spread, they're 15-11. And when it comes down to the spread on the road, they're 9-6. And as an underdog, they're 13-8 against the spread. And as a road dog, they're 9-4 against the spread. So this day and night with this team. They might not win the game, but they can get the cover. And then when it comes down to the overs, in 26 games, they've went over 16 times. And then on the road, they've went under in 8 out of their 15 road games. So the Thunder are a high-scoring team, but they're a team that figures out ways to cover as well, too, from what I have in my notes. Then you have the Mavs, who are 3-3 in December, lost 2 in a row after a 3-game winning streak. Now they are 10-4 straight up at home. They're 12-8 straight up as a favorite, and then they're 10-3 as a home favorite. Now against the spread, they're 8-16-2, one of the worst in the league. And then when it comes down to the spread at home, they're 4-8-2. And then when it comes down to the spread as a favorite, they're 6-13-1. But as a home fave, they're 4-8-1. Now, when it comes to the over-under on their side, they have the same result as the Thunder. They've had 26 games. They've won over in 16 of them. Now, as the home team, they've won over in 8 of their 14 games. So that's what's here, and that's what's going on. But I truly do feel like this game does wind up being a game with OKC actually prevailing and getting themselves a cover here with the plus 8.5 that they have going on in this game tonight. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. Now, let's go ahead and look at the 2007 NBA Finals. Cavaliers and the Spurs. These two teams are different teams now. Cavaliers are one of the better teams in the East, while the Spurs are bottom of the barrel in the West. So we'll see how it goes. The times has definitely changed. So we have a game where you have a 17-10 Cavs team going against an 8-18 Spurs team. Now the Cavs 3-2 in the month of December. They're 5-8 on the road as well too. They're 15-5 as a favorite, 4-3 as a road favorite. Now against the spread, they're 15-10-2, and on the road they're 4-8-1. Now against this, and that's against the spread on the road. Now against the spread as a fave, they're 13-5-2. Now against the spread as a road fave, they're 3-3-1. when it comes down to the over-under, they've went under in 17 out of their 27 games. And on the road, they've went under in 8 out of their 13 games. Now, the Spurs, they're 2-2 in the month of December, but they've won 2 games in a row as well, too. Now, they're 4-10 straight up at home. They're 7-17 as a underdog, and then they're 3-9 as the home underdog. Now, that's pretty bad. And then you have the spread, they're 11-15 against it. At home against the spread, they're 6-8. As an underdog, they're 10-14. And this is against the spread, and then 5-7 as a home dog against the spread. Now, when it comes down to over and under, they've went under in 14 out of their 26 games. And then they've went under in 8 out of their 14 games at home. So the Spurs coming into this one trying to keep things civil, but I think what happens here is that it's an obvious situation. It's an obvious call. We go ahead and we take the under in this spot. I think the under 220 is the best bet because that's what it's jumped to. It was at 219.5 when it opened, but it's jumped up to 220. So we move forward and let's move on to the Wolves and the Blazers, which is going to be another really good game tonight. And we do have the Wolves coming in here 13-13. The Blazers are 14-12. These teams played on Saturday night. The Blazers won that game 124-118. It was their first game of the season as well, too. They'll be meeting up after this one. They'll meet up 2 more times in Minnesota. So right now you have the Wolves who are 2-2 in the month of December, and then straight up on the road they're 6-6 against the spread, and straight up as an underdog they're 2-6. And the same thing goes for being a road dog against the spread, and straight up they're 1-4. Now, when it comes down to the spread, though, overall they're 10-16, and on the road they're 5-7 against the spread. Now, in their 26 games, they've went under 15 times, and in their 12 road games, they've went under 7 times. Tonight, though, the Blazers come in here 3-1 in the month of December, 6-6 straight up at home, 5-3 straight up as a favorite. 4-3 straight up is the home favorite, and then 17-9 against the spread. And then at home against the spread, they're 7-5. And then when it comes down to the spread as a favorite, they are 4-4. And then as the home fave against the spread, they're 3-4. Now, when it comes down to the over and under, they went under in 13 of their 26 games this year. So it's really hit or miss with this team. Even though they look like a high-scoring team, they're actually not. But at home, though, they've went over 6 times in their 12 games at home. So the Blazers coming to this one kind of an even team when it comes to being at home in a sense. But they do have one of the best records against the spread. But I like the Wolves tonight with my NBA dog of the day. I know that their road record doesn't look like much, but they should be able to step it up right here on the road tonight and get themselves a nice little win here, in my opinion. I think that when you don't see them coming, and I think they're going to overbet the Blazers here. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and we move forward from there. Now, let's go ahead and jump into our next game, which is going to be this one. It's going to be the Clippers and the Celtics. The Celtics come into this game, best record in the NBA, 21-6. Clippers are 15-13. Clippers are a 4.5-point dog tonight with a over-under of 224.5. Now, you have a Clippers team that is kind of going through the motions. We don't know who's in and who's out. They always kind of make it a game time decision now. The Celtics had a national game Saturday on ABC, lost that game, but they're 3-2 on the month still. They're 10-4 straight up on the road. That's the best record in the NBA when it comes to road games. When it comes down to being a straight up favorite, they're 19-6. Also, as a road favorite, they're 8-4 this year. Against the spread, they're 17-10. Against the spread on the road, they're 8-6. Now, against the spread as a favorite, they're 15-10, and then against the spread as a road fave, they are 6-6. Now, when it comes to over/under in their 27 games, they've won over 14 times. Now, when it comes to the over/under on the road, they've went under in 10 out of those 14 games. So, yeah, that's what kind of telling that they score a lot at home, but on the road, they kind of, just get in there and play some really good defense and just win the damn game. That's all they do. All right, so you have the Clippers who are 2-3 in the month of December. They won their last game against Washington after a 2-game losing streak. They're 7-6 straight up at home. They're 3-7 straight up as an underdog this year, though. And then when it comes down to being a home dog, they're 2-3 against the spread and straight up. But against the spread, they're 13-15. Now against the spread at home, they're 5-8, and against the spread as a dog, they are 5-5. Now when it comes down to the over and under, they've went under in 17 out of their 26, 17 out of their 28 games. And then as the home team in their 13 games, they've went under 11 times. So the Clippers, you don't know what to expect with the Clippers tonight. You just say, do they have their whole team in the game? That's the biggest question. But all in all, though, I do like the Celtics tonight to go ahead and actually roll them, because that 3.5 is a good number, and I think that the Clippers actually win this game by 6 or better. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and when I get back, we're going to jump into Talking Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we are back with the PrimeTime Angles Live. So let's go ahead and jump into Talking Tickets. Talking Tickets, I know it's your favorite subject, my favorite subject. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Up first, we got the CBB tonight. We got the PrimeTime PK6 with the 49-1. We got Lafayette. Pretty good game tonight. They're going against Columbia, so I like the way that game's shaping up. Tonight, we also have Yale playing Fairfield tonight. I like the way that Yale looks coming into that spot. Then we also have Liberty tonight. Liberty's in a pretty good 50-50 game, so I do like them with the plus money with the 130. Then we have Creighton playing against Arizona State tonight in Vegas at Mandalay Bay. I like the way that this one's shaping up as well, too. The minus 160 looks really good. And then we have Kennesaw State. They're in a tricky spot tonight. I think that they wind up covering, so that's why I got them with the plus 19.5. And then we have San Francisco U, who's playing in the nightcap of that Vegas shootout tonight. And I think that they go ahead and they take care of their business tonight as well, too. Playing New Mexico as well. I think they get the +4, possibly get the win as well. So we have that, and we move forward from there. We have the NBA tonight, and I gave you guys the winners, but let's go ahead and get to it again so I can show you guys exactly how much it's worth. It's a 32-1 ticket. We have the over 226 with the Hawks and the Grizzlies tonight. We have the under 220 with the Cavs and the Spurs. Then we have the plus 8.5 with the Thunder, our dog of the day, the Wolves plus 145. And then we finish up with the Celtics with the minus 3.5. And that's going to be our NBA Super High Five today at 32-1. Single what you like, and we move forward from there. This is our Monday Night Football bets, 2.5 to the Pats tonight. That's what the spread was looking like when I put my ticket in. It's probably going to jump back up to a 3 by the time we get to kickoff. So try to get your 2.5. If you got to buy down, just buy down. Then we have the under 21.5 first half. And then we also had a Pats first quarter, half a point. That's actually plus money tonight on Bovada. So that's plus 130 actually tonight. So if you like it the other way around, that's actually minus 170 on the Cardinals. So I'll take the value all day on the team that's going to win the game. So you have the Pats over 21.5 on team total as well. So there it is. There it is. That's going to be talking tickets for you for today. And man, another showdown. And we'll be back to it tomorrow, man. I thank you guys very much for tuning in. And man, hopefully we go ahead and get some of these tickets home so then you guys can be like, man, Poppy, take care of me on Christmas. Because you know I'm Prime Clause. You know, it's that time of the year, man. And we only got 2 weeks before people begging for gifts and talking about, man, you didn't give me this, you didn't give me that. So you know how it goes. All right, so pretty much I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are the absolute best. And we'll be back tomorrow talking some more college football, college basketball, some NBA, some NFL as well too, and some boxing. So you guys make sure you tune in to the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, hosted by the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. So you guys already know how I feel. You guys, there is no me without you. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.